Yeah, bang bang rail. Albany Prison, 1973, 74. I went there. Good, Nick. When I say good prison was the top, yeah. The better one than that, obviously, was Chelmsford Prison, but Albany was a good prison in 1974, 73. It was good. I went to a wing called C Wing. C Wing was called marriage quarters for its own reason, which I should imagine you know what it is. And I went there. I got into the kitchen. I loved the job in the kitchen. And there was a guy in there called Billy Mcgee, and also another guy called Janice. Yeah, I don't know the name, but I was just called it Janice. But Billy Mcgee, I knew Billy Mcgee. Billy Mcgee, the name Billy Mcgee used was Mary, so we used Mary and we used Janice. So Mary, no, I can't say it. It's, well, Billy Mcgee, yeah. Billy McGee's, it's a bit embarrassing. Yeah, it's life, isn't it? It's what it is, anyway. So, Billy McGee, Mary, long blonde hair, short guy, pretty, very pretty. And in Albany in them days, they used to give these people pills, like to grow their breast a little bit, yeah? So their little breasts as well. So you can imagine, can't you, walking about, looking a bit gay, but they're all gay. Feminine, very feminine, walking about, little thongs that they're made up and all them sort of things, and little bras they made up. It's a bit over the top anyway. So Billy McGee, Mary, always looking for new people, and, you know, and used to come to parties. We used to have parties in there. There's lots of hooch in there. That's usually like potatoes and yeast and sugar, or oranges, yeast, sugar, things like that, all ferment and make yeast, make a drink like very potent, mate. Poor, wow, it's very, very strong. You know what I mean? It can knock your spark out. I don't drink anyway. But it can knock. I've seen people have a glass of that, mate, and crash right out. But anyway, there's some parties, and Billy McGee was in there, and you can imagine what goes on in the parties. You know, people's in their cell, they shoot off with Billy McGee or Mary, go to the cell and be there for a couple of minutes and come back again, and big smile on their face, and someone else will go and do the same thing. But this Billy McGee, that's how it used to earn its money. It worked in a wood mill. Carving, you know, doing something on these big lathe machines, and yeah, with big chisels and all that, yeah. Nice guy. When you say he's a nice guy, let me tell you, this guy got nicked for. This was like later on, and you won't believe it, you know what I mean? But everybody thought very, very feminine, you know, played games all the time, and we used to have lots of parties, so we used to have lots of fun. Anyway, this particular time, a guy coming in prison by the name of Catapult Charlie. His name was, what was his name? Catapult Charlie. Anyway, his name was Catapult Charlie as far as that was the name they was giving him. I know his name, no, I've done a video once before. Anyway, Catapult Charlie is first in the morning for me, innit? So anyway, he come in, Billy McGee, Mary, the guy was a good-looking guy. I think he was doing 12 years, something like that. So Mary make a beeline for him. George Cockle, that was his name, George Cockle. So Mary made a beeline for George Cockle, yeah? And anyway, them two got together. They was always in the shower together, always giggling, laughing. That's a joke, isn't it? Always in the shower together. And my mate Toby, he'd go mad. He would go mad, you know. He would go mad. He would see old George Cocker and he'd tell him, do you sort of favour, mate, don't all that game in here. Ain't. But Toby knew what was going on. Billy McGee, but anyway, what goes on later. So Billy McGee is always downstairs cooking nice food, because Billy McGee, because of the money it earns doing what he's doing, could afford to buy meat off the butcher. The butcher actually was in A Wing, So he'd come by the wing and he'd pop it in a bag or whatever, or someone would come up from the wing as he come out through the kitchen. Very rare them people that work in the butchers and pantries get a proper search, because they work with the screws, yeah? They give the screws stuff to take home. So the screws on the blind eye. So when he come out of the butcher shop, he'd walk up there, give it to someone to go and see ring, someone and then give it to Billy Mcgee, pork chops, lamb chops, all sorts of stuff, yeah? So Billy Mcgee would be down there doing a proper roast dinner, baked potatoes, everything, you know, cabbages and all, everything for George Cockle. So them two got really close, yeah? There was, I mean, they couldn't be parted. In Albany, it was all single cells, yeah? So what they would do, once it would be association, which association in Albany was quite a lot, yeah? So they put wedge under the door, wedge the door, no one could get in, something on a spile, no one could look in, and just do what they got to do. And they was like madly in love, them two, George Cockle and I. These things crazy, but they were, yeah? And it was very close. And Billy Mcgee, one day, it was so funny, the sun was boiling. The sun was boiling, and it was 1976, because quite a lot happened in 1976, yeah? So this, I mean, you know, it was summertime, and Billy Mcgee was out on the yard, out on this little, there's a little yard inside the prison compound, like a little compound yard. And they go, if the gates are not open, you go out in a big compound, you go out in the little yard. It's about, I don't know, 50, 60 foot yard, 50, 60 yards, maybe 20 yards wide or whatever. So people like there get a suntan. So anyway, Billy Mcgee's laying down there with this boob tube thing on it. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Boob tube, yeah? And made a little thong, and quite gifted. You know what I mean? To wear a thong, really. Anyway, and for a laugh, I thought, yeah, let's have a laugh. So I flipped up the boob tube, yeah? Went mad. I'm going to kill you. You don't realise what you're doing. I will kill you. I'll stab you to death. I'm with someone. Leave me alone. All that sort of. I don't do bad talk, do I? It's quite good. So anyway, so I thought, oh, I've done it wrong in here. So all of a sudden, exercise. Everybody's walking around. And I'll tell you a little bit more about this as it happens before the exercise, you know, before I'm in the kitchen. So they got a guy in there called Big John McDonough, yeah, massive, good Irish guy, huge, yeah, always in the gym, fantastic at squats, yeah, long hair, Irish, good-looking guy, 6'3", 6'4", massive. He was on the coppers. This is 1976. This is where it happens with Billy Mcgee, Mary as well, and George Cockle coming into the prison. So anyway, Billy Mcgee, right, was coming down the kitchen now and again, right, getting bits of meat, as I told you, and things like that. And, you know, rather than give it to someone else, Billy Mcgee meet him up the top and this, that and the other. Sometimes Billy Mcgee would go in this room with this guy, this butcher, he was like very much into that sort of thing, and she'd go in there and come out smiling, wiping her mouth, and come out with more meat or whatever. Well, John McDonough, he was really pissed off, mate. I mean, he was doing life. He'd done about, what, 6 years, maybe more than that, yeah? He was in D-Wing in Albany. But it was all Irish RA in there then, yeah? All the RA were in there then. He was in there, John McDonough, Irish. Whether or not he's involved in it, I don't know. But there was loads of RA in there, yeah? Nicky Smith was in there. Look at him, Nicky Smith, I was to row with. He was there. There was quite a few people in there, yeah? And John McDonough was always pissed off in the kitchen. And one day, we was all sitting in a room just having a quick cup of tea and a bit of cake and this, that and the other. And John said, listen, is there any rope about, yeah? Strings and ropes, you know. Anyway, so he got a load of rope and he tied it around his waist and this, that and the other. Anyway, got out of it because he don't search. Anyway, he'd gone and then exercise time. And but there's quite a few people that are involved in this. It's madness, yeah. So in them days, there was no fence around Albany, just a wall, yeah. And something to do with Mountbatten, a big Mountbatten something. Mountbatten was the one who made a prison within a prison, like a fence and a wall. Fences all around the neck, you know, exercise yard with fences. It was Mountbatten that done that, yeah? Mountbatten, he was the one that done all that shit, yeah? So anyway, this is before all that happened, yeah? But I think that had a lot to do with lots of things, why people put fences around the neck and all this crap. But John McDonough, I've never seen John McDonough really come out and exercise a lot. He never used to come out too much. And there's quite a few people that like John, you know. John used to play like football, cricket and all that lot down the field. No rugby in Albany. So anyway, he'd have been a good number 8, John. Anyway, cut a long story short, John's walking around the exercise yard with about 8 or 9 people all around with him. All of a sudden, mate, it kicked off. What? Big John McDonough. Imagine this guy, mate. Run up the drain pipe to one of the wings. It was seaming. Run up the drain pipe to the wing and got on the roof. But not only did he get on the roof, so about 8 or 9 others got on the roof, yeah? So the last one up on that roof was a guy called Johnny Patton. Johnny Patton was a proper schizophrenic psychopath. Yeah, honestly. Very dangerous. And he would kill you within a second. He was the last one out there. Whoop, all screws. They can't do nothing. There's screws everywhere. Get down. But they've gone up prepared for this. They've gone up prepared. Anyway. They're all sending ropes down and this, that and the other. And all that, and the other. And then Billy Mcgee sends them up all sorts of food and cook scrub for them in pots and all that game and pulling it up, you know. Billy Mcgee, fair play to Billy Mcgee Mary, got right involved in it, you know, and looked after these people up on the roof. Well, right at the very end, it was a 76 summit. It was absolutely boiling, 112, 110 and all that crazy heat. They eventually got burnt, some of them so bad that they was in hospital for quite some time, burnt the liver, the kidneys, all of them. The last one to come down from there, I mean, you had John McDonough up and down, running up and down the wings, yeah? They were throwing things at the screws was trying to get them down. All the SGB or whatever, prison, like an SGB at prison, they was all round with big battens and all this, that, trying to get them. But that lot, they didn't care. They had all sorts of things up there that they used against the screws, so the screws couldn't get to them. So in the end, what the screws decided to do was put scaffolding together and barbed wire it up so they couldn't jump down from the gym where they was to the wings to get the food. But it's right out of order because they can't even drink water. It is 1976. It's absolutely scalding, yeah? I don't know if that would be against all prison policies or outside law to starve them as water, to dehydrate, anyway. There must have been some sort of law against that, yeah? But anyway, they're all up there, they're all burning, they decide to come down because they had to come down. There's no water, there's no food, and they can't do anything. They're just laying down there scalding, and the helicopters are up above them, and they've done a little cartoon of Big John McDonough with a I think a gorilla, with a gorilla's body with John McDonough's head on top, pulling the helicopter from the sky, yeah? It was like, I'd love to get hold of that. Anyway, so they all come down, barring one, Johnny Patton. So Billy Mcgee is screaming out the window because Johnny Patton is like, she's screaming, come down, you're going to die on the roof and all that crap, yeah? And then eventually he comes down, yeah, but he's such in a bad way. He's nearly dies, yeah? His kidneys or his liver or something burnt to death and burnt to pieces, and he was in a bad way. They sent him to a prison and they sent him to Parkhurst, but anyway, forget about that in a minute. So Billy Mcgee, it's 76, a lot happened in 76. So Billy Mcgee is mad in love with George Cockle, madly in love. And that time I slipped up a boob tube, you know, it's going to kill me in it, you know what I mean? So anyway, me, Toby Ludlow, Lowell Gibbons, I think Farney, there's a few people there. Might be Farney Pope. No, he wasn't on my wing, Farney. Or was he? I can't remember. I think it was Lawyer Man, Toby Ludlow, Lowell Gibbons. There was about 5, 6 of us in the cell having a drink, having a smoke, having a drink. But I don't smoke, I don't drink, but they're in my cell. All of a sudden, on my window, in my cell, a little spy hole thing, tapping that, hitting the door. Hello, what's that? Hello, Ray, it's Mary. Billy Mcgee. Sorry, that's all that name was a bit embarrassing. Not for you, for me. So Billy McGee's going to me, Ray, anyway, forget about it. Ray, George Cockle, like, I love him so much. We've been together a long time now. I look after him like a proper wife, and he's just, now he's turned against me, and wants me to have a gangbang with one of his friends that's just come in, who's up for it, yeah, up for a gangbang. But I love George so much, you know, I don't want to have a gangbang, you know, and it seemed quite embarrassing for me, yeah. But he has said to me that if I don't do it, that he's going to bash me up really bad, you know, and you know, I'm too frightened to go back to my cell because of that. He said he'd do this and do that to me, yeah. I said, right. I said, you go up and tell George Cockle, right, if he touches you, I was massive, right? Anyway, I was always fighting in there. So Billy McGee felt quite comfortable to tell me about all this, yeah. I said, you tell him that if he touches you, yeah, I swear to God, I'll fucking break his jaw. I'll give him a little right hand and break his jaw, right? So she went, okay, thanks, Ray. And bump went upstairs, and then you could hear screaming and screws running about where he's giving her a clump. Right, so anyway, we're in the cell. We've got to come out of the cell now because there's all screws running around. You don't know what's going on. They come out of the cell, or, you know, just walking around drunk and stoned. In prison, there wasn't a lot of puff. If you got a bit of puff in there, it'd be leb, or it'd be the other odd stuff, yeah. So, but no well, a bit acid tabs in there that John and Parky Barry used to bring in all the time. But anyway, everybody's just gone, you know, and it's just nice. They're enjoying themselves, but they can hear Billy McGee upstairs screaming. George Cockle comes down the stairs. George Cockle was like with this other guy, and George Cockle is looking at me and a few other people, and we're telling him, listen, you're in trouble, mate, yeah? And he's like, all that shit, he thinks he can have a right round at George Cockle, maybe he can, but to us, we ain't bothered, yeah? And they called him Catapult Charlie because what he used to do, he used to wait outside jewellery shops, look at the jewellery shop with his wife. His wife was his co-defendant, and he used to drive around the Rolls Royce. They parked the Rolls Royce across the road with a catapult with a great big ball bearing in it, and whoop, it goes straight through it's a good idea, isn't it? Not giving you any ideas, but it goes straight through the window of the jeweller's shop, and it'd make a hole like that in it, you know. And she would put her hand in it because she's tiny and take 2 or 3 Rolexes out there or whatever they decided at that time to take. You know, he was really good with a catapult, wasn't it? Big. Anyway, in the end, he gets caught. I think he gets a 12. He's got lots of money. He's been doing lots of shops, something like that. She gets a 4. She's in prison as well. But obviously, so now, I mean, the greatest thing goes on. She gets out, you go on a visit, and you see him. He's been kissing, cuddling Billy McGee or Mary, and he's going in kissing his wife. You know, you don't know what else he's been doing, and there he is kissing his wife. She ain't got a clue what's going on. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so one day I'm in the kitchen. It's a nice day. I've decided to go up the wing, maybe cook something nice, a steak or something. So I goes to the butcher's in there, and I said, "Guess a steak, mate. Cut, good fella, mate. But he only cut me a nice little steak." And I went up and went to cook it. I had tomatoes, mushrooms, and all that in myself. So I'm coming downstairs to cook it. I got it all frying. The smells all around the wing. It's bad in there, but the burglars don't like it. You know what I mean? They're going to nick it for it if they find it. All of a sudden, the alarm bell goes crash. I think, oh, shit myself. It ain't for me, but you do get paranoid in prison. So took it off the thing, put it in the oven, standing by the oven. All of a sudden, all the screws are running by me, loads of screws. And you got white ones, which the hospital, but ain't hospital doctors. In Albany prison, you never had hospital, you just had doctors, yeah? So a nurse and all that. Anyway, they're running by. All of a sudden, a stretcher comes through, and I see that Jules Cockle is on the stretcher. But Jules Cockle got a couple of cuts around the face. But when you look at him, he's got this sheet over him, like a white sheet, and he's got all little spots of blood over his body. And the blood is like watery and little blood in the middle, yeah? So, you know, you find out that it's internal bleeding. It's not actually on the out, it's in the inside it's bleeding, yeah? And then he goes by. You understand that they took him to an outside hospital or took him to Parkhurst, or they got hospital in there or whatever. This is what we're told later on, you know. So all of a sudden, who comes out? Billy Mcgee. Hair all over the gaff, because he had big fuzzy hair. Hair all over the gaff, fucking face all red and being slapped about, blood all over the t-shirt, blue t-shirt. You think, what the fuck has been going on here? And goes, bump goes. And the next thing you know, that Jules Cockle has died in Parkhurst. And she stabbed him, I think it was 16 times she stabbed him with a 1/4-inch chisel. So as she's stabbing him, the blood is not coming on, you got a little blood comes out, but all the blood, because it closed up so quick, so tight, is internal bleeding. But she stabs him 14, 16 times. I know it's a lot because it's hot anyway. Now, she goes to Winchester prison. He's dead. So now the police in the nick want information. So you've got to understand that Billy Mcgee is alive. Jules Cockle is dead. So no matter what, you've got to stand up for Billy Mcgee. You're prisoners, yeah? So they come to see me. I already told the screws, the full SP, what Billy Mcgee done when it comes to my cell. And I had witnesses, 6, 7 people myself. So I said, yeah, Billy Mcgee. I saw the old Bill come downstairs, bump, 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 goes in the room, talks to them. I said, you know, like what it's like. Listen, this geezer's going to get a life sentence. You've got to try and stop this geezer getting a life sentence and help it out as much as possible. I said, yeah, look, I said, I'm in my cell. I said, they've got a knock on my little spy hole in there and a drink and this, that and the other. And he knocked on the door and I'm asking what it's all about. Told me that George Cockle upstairs wants a gangbang with his other geezer, and if he doesn't do as I'm told, he will hurt her. And you know, she's frightened that he might cut her up, you know, because he's quite good, or she's quite good looking as such, yeah. So he's quite frightened that he's going to cut her up or do something to her. So I told her then that if he touches her, tell him that I'm going to clump him. I'll give him a right hander. You know. Anyway, when he went upstairs, George Cockle set about her. Really hurt her, and the screws was all the screaming, and the screws went up to separate whatever happened. But being that she's or he is a very in love with George, and this, that, and the other, does not say nothing to the screws to get George Cockle nicked. You know, it's just an argument. But George Cockle really bashed her up, you know. So George Cockle don't get nicked. Billy Mcgee. So when it goes to the wood mill, George Cockle is also working in the wood mill. Billy McGee's on the lathe doing whatever he does. I don't know, stalls or with his chisels. George Cockle has come up to Billy McGee when it's on the lathe and starts fucking giving it clumps. Because he's giving her clumps, she's now defending herself, or he's defending herself. So she's defending herself like that, and she don't realise that she's stabbing him. And anyway, he dies. So she gets charged with murder, which should be manslaughter because anyway. She goes to Winchester Crown Court. They then ask me if I want to go as a witness. I go, of course, standard, I've got to go. You know, there's no way this guy, did he mean, or did she mean, to stab George Cockle without doing 16 times. It was a self-defence. It was an accident, self-defence, you know. Anyway, goes to court, witnesses, this, that and the other, but I had to stay in Winchester Crown Court until such time as I was called. So, you can imagine, can't you? You're in Albany, you've got your single cells, you've got everything you want, and then you are Winchester Nick in there 5 or 6 days before you can go to court, telling them what's going on, and it's a piss hole in Winchester. Anyway, I'm not happy. I'm 3 up in the cell. Anyway, I eventually goes in court. All he'd seen the defence counsel for her. Defence counsel. No, was it? Yeah, defence counsel. Yeah, defence counsel. So all he talked to the defence counsel about what was going on. I'm in court. I'm in the dock. Right. Defence counsel told us the story. The prosecution stands up. He is, hello, he's as bent as they come. Right? I'm not joking. Can you tell me what happened? And all this sort of, I went, wow, you know what I mean? And there's Billy McGee there to look like getting a life sentence. And you got the prosecution, who's gay as they come, I should imagine, is on his or her side. Don't forget, he's CPS. So, yeah, hello, and all that going. And the judge, right, is worse than the prosecution. So the judge stands up, sits down, but talks to me. Hello, can you tell me, when you say you're going to give George Cockle a right hook, what do you mean by that? I said, well, you know, I'll give it a right hook. I'll punch it with a right hook. Okay, thank you. Thank you. You can sit down now, Mr. Hill. And that was it. It's the judge. He's more or less... Anyway, so there's more people this and more people that, and we had to go downstairs. The jury are out, this, that and the other. Billy McGee's not in my cell, it's in another cell, but starts sobbing, really crying, thinking that it's in trouble because of what's been come out. And but the prosecution and the judge, I should imagine, are on his or her side because they're both that way inclined. Goes in court, gets found guilty, not of murder, but of diminished responsibility of what, I don't know, whatever. And I can't believe it. This thing gets something like 2 years diminished responsibility and killed George Cockle with a court, but it didn't mean to, it was an accident, but 2 years, the judge gave her 2 years diminished responsibility, or 2.5 years, something like that. So Billy McGee, but before all this, right, the prosecution, I wasn't there, but I'm there, but I'm downstairs. The prosecution are saying that Mr. Billy McGee got X amount of time, I think it was doing a 10 or 9, something like that, for chopping a security guard's hand off for the money, for the bag. So you can see that Mr. McGee is a very dangerous man. But hello, a very dangerous man, you know. But it was on Billy McGee's side. But you can see Billy McGee is put into. I wasn't anyway what I was told, but anyway, it's what Billy McGee's telling me. So I'm in a big cell going back to Albany Thank God. I've got to go back to Winchester, but I'm going back. They're going to come pick me up. I'm going to go to Albany, back to Albany. I'm over the moon. Oh, I don't want to go back there, mate. Who comes in my cell? Billy Mcgee. And I'm so pleased. I've got 2 years. You did. I love you so much. And it's all over me. I said, leave off. Leave off. I shit myself. You know what I mean? But anyway, Billy Mcgee don't come back to Albany. He gets 2 years diminished responsibility on his sentence. Come on. It's nothing, is it? It's nothing. And when you think about it, what it did, I mean, it's self-defence. Didn't mean to kill Jules Cockle, just defending herself because you've got the chisels in her hand. I don't suppose Jules Cockle could even feel those sort of things going in his body, you know, like that. But as they died, Jules Cockle and Billy Mcgee got 2 years diminished responsibility. And when I went back to Albany, everybody's cheering me, you know. Johnny Patton, the guy that was on the roof, the last one on the roof, went to, he was in, I think he went with where Bronson was, Charles Bronson, for a little bit of time, and then to Parkhurst. And Johnny Patton was a soldier, schizophrenic psychopath. He got involved with a big card game in Parkhurst. He was working with a Scottish guy who also works involved in the car school. Johnny Patton was also involved in the car school. Money's being passed this and passed that. Johnny Patton's involved. Pardon me. It winds up. The Scotch geezer is gone behind Johnny Patton's back. One of getting a bit of money put into his private cash, where Johnny Patton should have got the money as well. So Johnny Patton's come back for an argument with the Scotch guy. He got the Scotch guy. He's got a big knife. Chased Johnny Patton down the landing. He's going to kill him. So Johnny Patton knows now that he can't go back in the cell, can't do the card school. He's out of the card school, but he's been effed for his money. He ain't going to get his money, so he ain't happy. And the guy's chasing him on the landing with a big knife. Johnny Patton now got hold of a mate of his who works in the kitchen. Said to his mate, do me a favour, get me a knife, but a nice knife, sharp one. Evidently this guy got Johnny Patton a boning knife, was quite thin, very sharp, and he took the business. Give it to Johnny Patton. Johnny Patton then went down to the Scottish guy's cell. They was looking for the knife for what? Absolute days, close the prison down, looking for the knife. You don't want a big knife, you know, even though the Scottish guy's got a knife, but he's got a knife that's been made up, yeah? Johnny Patton has got a boning knife, yeah? So now he wants to have a row with the guy in the cell. The guy in the cell comes out. Johnny Patton stabs him about 8 times with his boning knife, kills him stone dead. Johnny Patton gets a life, and Johnny Patton is, I don't know if he's still away or he's out, but I did understand that him and Charles Bronson become very good friends. They was both in that unit. Anyway, this is Bang Bang Radio, just a little video, but it's quite a good video. Please press the like button and subscribe, and good morning. Nice one.